Would you guys today we're taking a look at why this mini PC can replace your desktop. It's the Minisforum G7 Pro. It's part of the Atom Man series. Now, how can this replace a desktop PC? Well, this does come with an i9 processor inside and also an RTX 5070 GPU. And this is why it can replace your desktop PC. Lower power draw, high performance, plays all your games and does all your video editing and Photoshop. So it covers everything you're going to need to do on a computer. This is everything you're going to get inside the box, a warranty and an extra thermal pad with heatsink on it for an extra drive if you want to add it. There's some screws here for the mount on the bottom. Also, we've got our power cable, HDMI cable here, pretty short one, but pretty standard for most of these mini PCs. And we've got an external power brick or adapter right here. Max output is 20 volts, 14 amps and 280 watts. There's two modes on here, game mode and office mode, which will obviously give you more power under game mode if you need it. Maximum of 200 watts if you need that. So plenty of power in that adapter. Barrel connector on the end. We'll take a look at the mini PC itself. You've got your stand here so it can stand it up vertically. There's a couple of little lugs on there that it pushes into and the two screws come in the kit. So this is the actual mini PC itself, part of the Atom Man series. Nice design on the front here. Let's take a look at the actual buttons here. On the right hand side we have a power button, then we have that mode toggle button. This is going to toggle whether you want game mode or office mode. Office mode is 90 watts, that's 55 watts plus 95 watts, and game mode is 120 watts, 85 watts plus 115 watts. On here we have a USB port, that's USB 3.2 Gen 1 at 5 Gbps. We have an audio jack and we also have a USB-C 3.2 Gen 1, 5 Gbps and data only, and an SD card on there as well, and another USB 3.2 port. And we have that mode for toggling your power. Up here we do have the bracket area here, but there is some exhaust here or intake for the cooling for this particular one. It's a couple of screws here which will gain access to inside. I'll show you inside a little bit later on. Moving on round to the back of the unit here, we'll take a look here. We've got a couple of expansion areas here for getting rid of heat. One on the left and one on the right hand side. For the inputs here we do have our DC in, which is for your power. USB 4, that's 40 Gbps, PD out and max 15 watts. USB 3.2 Gen 2, 10 Gbps on there, HDMI 2.1 FRL, and we have a Ethernet port, which is a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet LAN port on there as well, and that runs on the Realtek chip. And on the other end here, this is either an intake or an exhaust type area for your heat. On the bottom, we do have a nice honeycomb effect here, which is going to allow intake or extraction of heat as well. So I do like the overall look of this. It's like a laptop really in a case. But I've just removed the two screws on this side here so I can gain access, and it sort of slides back, and you can see this bottom part here has got a nice filter here, so if you need to wipe it off you can do with a damp cloth and clean that up. It's pretty easy to remove. Now it looks exactly like a laptop inside a case, which looks pretty cool. Now, on the side, it looks like those side ones are probably intake. It's going to probably pull air from the inside here, take it into these fans, blow the cool air over the GPU and CPU here, and then exhaust all of that heat out of the back by the looks of it. Now, these are laptop chips on here. They are soldered to the board, so that's how they work. You've got your Wi-Fi here, which is Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. There you got your typical little ribbons like you would have on a laptop right here, but it does have two M.2 2280 slots. The one that's populated is a PCI Express 5.0x4, and you have another one that's spare, which is a PCI Express 4x0x4. Memory is DDR5, so DIMM memory times 2. This supports up to 96 gigabytes. Maximum speed is 5600 megahertz. There is only one stick in here, and that's because of the memory shortage. So we do have only one stick on this model. I don't know whether they're shipping like that, but you need to check on their website. Now the CPU on this model is the Intel Core i9-14900HX. That's 24 cores and 32 threads. Maximum turbo frequency of 5.8 gigahertz up to 120 watts TDP on gaming mode and 90 watts on the work mode. Now the GPU on this is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 laptop chip, which is soldered to the board. It's 8 gigs GDDR7, and basically that has got up to 798 TOPS on it, which is going to be plenty for all your video editing, photo editing, and gameplay. So as you can see, these mini PCs are getting very, very powerful. Yes, this is a wider, flatter type mini PC, but it is still, nevertheless, a very powerful mini PC, probably the powerfulest mini PC that I've tested on this channel. So let's put this back. It just slots into place and you just have to use the 2 screws to lock it into position. And then we can put on the stand so it stands up like this. So it looks pretty cool as well, and it will sit in a corner somewhere and it won't take up much room. You just have to screw these 2 long screws into the bottom to hold it into position if you want to mount it this way, which is probably advisable. You've got that RGB on the front as well. Just wanted to quickly show you that. But here is the full specifications, which you can take a look at your own leisure if you pause the screen. So for all those people that wanted the complete mini PC experience with that extra GPU, so you can now get rid of that aging desktop, something like this will replace that desktop without a problem, because you do have that 5070 GPU inside there, which is going to be plenty for most people. And also you have that i9 processors, which is going to give you plenty of raw power for all your video editing and also Photoshop needs if you like doing that sort of thing. But if you want something for more general use, then Minisforum do offer some lower end models, but this is the top drawer and it's going to give you plenty of processing power and plenty of GPU power for gaming, Photoshop, and also video editing. So if you're looking for a top end system, then this is it. The BIOS looks really nice too. You've got access to all of your fan mode here. You can see it's in game mode at the moment, but you can control that from that button on the front of the computer, or you can access it from inside the BIOS here. And you also get access to your fan curve here. If you wanted to control that more, you can do. And you can see right here, we do have access to, so for whatever reason, if you need to come into the BIOS and update the firmware, you can do, or you can just go into the advanced mode, and this will give you access to advanced features inside the BIOS. Again, we'll take a quick look at that right now. So here's the advanced area right here. You can just get main advanced chipset security boot, just like you would on any other BIOS. And you can just go into these areas right here and go into the CPU configuration, power, performance, and so on. Okay, so let's get on with some benchmarks. We're going to be taking a look at Crystal Disk Info and also preparing to run Crystal Disk Mark. The reads on this drive is 7029.75 and the writes is 5810.58. And on the right is the Crystal Disk Info, which is telling you the temperature and the health of the drive and what brand it is. It's actually a crucial drive there. So let's take a look at HW Info here and go through and take a look at some of the standard temps here. 48, around for about 48 Celsius. I do have the heating on in the house because it is winter, so we are getting a little bit of elevated temperatures there under idle. But let's go ahead and take a look at CPU Z here and run through the CPU, motherboard, memory, and SPD, and so on. You can pause the screen and read these at your own leisure. Again, like I've said before, the CPU and also the graphics card are soldered to the board, but the memory is upgradable and changeable, and so are the SSD drives on this system. So let's do a quick stress test on the system. Now, this being Intel, I would imagine that you're just going to get slightly higher temperatures than you would with a Ryzen processor, but we'll wait and see and we'll take a look here. So I'll start the stress test off and you can see it's holding steady around about 70 odd Celsius here. And again, I'm hoping that it doesn't get too high, but with this being an Intel i9 processor, which does have quite a lot of processing power, these can run at their thermal capacity sometimes, and some of these can run a pretty hot temperature, but they're designed to do so. So don't panic if you see it going up to the 96s like you're seeing right here. The maximum operating temperature for this chip is 100 Celsius, and this is what these chips are designed to run at. So it will thermal throttle and step itself down to stop it overheating. And you can see it's got to 99 Celsius, and you'll probably see it step right down. And there you go, back down to 93, 89 to cool itself off. And that's what it will do. as this is a laptop CPU, and that's what they're designed to do when they're inside laptops. Now, looking at the Geekbench score here, we do have the single core score of 2,991 and a multi-core score of 14,780. Now, the GPU score is 111,442, which is on the OpenCL score here on Geekbench 6, which is pretty impressive for a 5070 laptop chip. Let's take a look at Cinebench R23 scores here. On the multi-core score, we have 30,500. On the single-core score, we have 2,203. Taking a look at the 3D Mark score for Time Spy score, that's 13,901. The graphics score was 13,472. And the CPU score was 16,962. But the overall score was your 13,901. And you can see the graph there, the way it was running on this benchmark. Now, if you want to see further testing on this for games, then let me know in the comments section down below what type of games you'd want to see me test it on. But I'm pretty sure you get the general idea. This is Crysis Remastered. It can play games, no problem whatsoever, as you'd expect with that RTX 5070 and that i9 processor. We got plenty of power here for playing all your favorite games. And again, I'm just going to get down onto the ground here. I just want to show you how smooth this is. It is really silky smooth. No jerkiness whatsoever. Now, if you remember a few years ago when I was reviewing these mini PCs, I said to you, we're going to get to a point where these mini PCs are going to be able to replace desktops. And a lot of people disagreed with me and said it's never going to happen. But right here, you can see we've already got an RTX 5070 in here and an i9 processor, and it's working flawlessly, as you can see. So this would be able to easily replace your desktop. You can plug in a couple of monitors and you're pretty much good to go. You'll be able to do all of your computer needs, whether it be gaming, video editing, movie playback, anything you want to do. This mini PC will be able to handle it, no problem whatsoever. Now, as you well know, RAM shortages are pretty bad right now. Prices are through the roof, and that's probably why they've only got one stick of RAM in here. And again, NVMe drives are very expensive as well right now. And that is also going to affect the market. And it's getting worse. Hard drives are now starting to go up as well. And this is all to do with AI, data centers and stuff as well that are using large amounts of memory and things like that. So for Minisforum to actually produce something like this is amazing, really, considering that the crisis we're in right now. You do have still plenty of options to add in more memory at a later date when the prices come down to some normality. Because I do believe that adding an extra memory stick inside here and running this on dual channel will help the frame rate and also help with performance of this mini PC. Unfortunately, we are running on one stick, and I wanted to run it exactly how it come delivered to me. This was sent to me by Minisforum for a review. No money has changed hands. All opinions are my own, and no one is reviewing this video before it's released. So what you're seeing is what you get, and I'm trying to give you my honest opinion. Now, at the end of the day, I do believe that this is a pretty decent all-round mini PC. It's probably the best one that I've tested so far on this channel. And it's not going to be for everyone, because obviously it's going to be quite a high-end system and quite expensive to purchase, because you are getting bleeding edge parts in here. But again, Minisforum do have plenty of other options available, so check out the links in the video description. So how much does it cost? Well, in the UK, it's going to cost £1,239. And you can see there's a discount on there as well. And if there's any discount promotion codes, I will leave them in the video description. And you'll get the full specifications on their website. So check out their website for full specs. They do have a Ryzen version there, which is the Ataman G7 Pro. How much is that in the United States? Well, it's $1,399, and that's come down from $1,749. Anyway, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to my YouTube members. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.